What is up, guys?
What's
How we doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Jedi In Exile. As always, Brian and Matt here to talk to you, this time about Bad Batch episode 9, which was called The Crossing. So let's just jump straight in. Brian, talk to me about your thoughts.
Yeah, I like this one. It felt kind of slow to begin with. I mean, I know these episodes are only like 25 minutes long, so, you know, there's not going to be loads of stuff crammed in, but overall, I really, really like the episode. I feel like we got a bit of character development with, like, Tech and Omega's relationship.
Yeah. Because
that seemed to be really off. Obviously, Omega's struggling with Echo, has left the squad, and I know that Echo had made the comment, didn't he, in episodes previous about how the reason they're on the run and where they are is because of her. So I think she always felt kind of guilty about that. So I definitely think she feels some kind of guilt towards this. Obviously, Sid has just sent the batch out again.
Shocker.
To this mine. So obviously the episode starts, they're coming up to this mine, they open it, they're got a mine, this Ipsum, which lo and behold, if you do anything the slightest bit off, it's going to explode and everybody's going to die.
Somebody was like, we need to write about something. Solo. Can we just copy what you did? And they're like, yeah, sure, just change it a little bit.
So they're going to give them a tiny little drill and they're going to make the 10-year-old use it.
Has anyone talked to these guys about child labour laws?
And so they basically get a reverse glue gun, don't they? Where they inject the Ipsum out and then it puts it into the tube. Yeah. Obviously, the Bad Batch is getting smaller and smaller. We then see the assassin, right, who steals the ship.
Is it an assassin?
Well, I thought it was the assassin from previous episodes.
No, I don't think
Is it someone completely new?
I think it's someone completely new.
Oh, okay.
I took it as somebody who was on the planet already, stuck on the planet already. But maybe that's what we'll find out.
I was wondering whether it was Crosshair, and I know we spoke previously in the last episode with the 7 and 8 that we didn't think that assassin was Crosshair because he kept missing. But I felt like maybe because we haven't seen Crosshair in a few episodes, I thought maybe he'd had a change of heart. Obviously Rampart was his man. I don't know. I thought maybe he was going back to the batch because there's still something there with Crosshair. I don't feel like.
Oh yeah, he's not fully gone. No, he's not fully gone.
But yeah, this episode, I feel like it'll be more interesting what's going to happen in the episode following because obviously Sid has said, "Oh yeah, I'll get you a ship in the next few days." I mean, what they're still doing, hanging around with Sid, is just I've got no clue.
Well, we'll find out what happened. There's got to be a reason because they've got to see some value in maintaining that relationship. But I don't know. I enjoyed the episode as well, but again, I found it slow. I'll be honest. There was a point where I went, I'm sure this episode's only 25 minutes. I must be right near the end, and looked at how long was left, and I was like, oh, we're about 10 minutes in. Yeah. But that sounds super negative, but I actually really enjoyed the episode. Yeah. I thought it was quite endearing to see Hunter, who had super reluctantly taken Omega into the team, really kind of go, you need to go and fix this because you've really upset her. Go and deal with it. Yeah. And also, just the insight into Tech's brain, because he's so logical. He is essentially, if there's any Star Trek fans watching, he's essentially Spock, right? In regards to
funny exchange,
the emotions are fully pulled apart, and he goes he says what he says, and he's like, I was literally just telling her what the situation is. But it was nice to see him then very much Omega's really struggled not only with the team breaking down, but it kind of went back to season 1 where they were not only super reluctant for her to join the team, but also be a proper part of the team.
Yeah, whereas now they're we need you.
Yeah, he really... She was like, what do you mean you trust me to do this? And he's like, yeah, of course I do.
And she came up with the same idea as him of using the Ipsum to blow a different route out of the mine. And I
think that is... we've already said that she's got some of the same traits as Hunter, and the theory is that because she's younger, they took what they learned from Hunter, Tech, Crosshair, and Wrecker, and essentially took all the best parts and put them into
Yeah,
one
and
like
she's-
super clone.
She's not an aged clone either,
No,
is she? She's
like Boba.
Yeah. So I find all of that quite interesting, and obviously, eventually, we're going to hopefully find out.
Well, that was like the
all of
little
this.
that was like the little breadcrumb that was kind of saying, look, she's thought of exactly the same thing as him.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah. I mean, there was that stampede as well throughout the episode. I'm trying to think of what actually like.
Do you know what?
Because not a lot actually did happen in the episode.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it was the first episode of this season. We were like, Moana.
Yeah,
and then the one where they
was
went
waiting
to
for Mufasa to jump
in the stampede.
Yeah.
I was just like, again, they've just gone. We need something to happen.
Disney are like, we need to make some sales. We need to get people to think of this. So they got Palpatine giving off the Scar vibes last episode,
and then this.
And now it's
But no, like I did enjoy it. I think this was.
I cannot wait for Rafiki to appear somewhere.
This was a slower episode, but it definitely was more of a character development, relationship development, and telling like kind of. When you have a 16-episode series, you can't have every episode being like a blockbuster.
And,
And we've talked about it before that one of the reasons that we love Clone Wars so much is, and yes, it was spread out over a much longer period of time because it was like many more seasons, but the character development was one of the things that made that such a great TV show.
They planted things that then paid off later on.
That's evidently what is happening here, and we're seeing it little by little, and I think that this is going to be one of those where at the end of maybe this season, maybe a future season, we will look back and go, this again was on par with Clone Wars for like character development.
And you know that whether it's Filoni or whoever's involved in this series, you know that obviously we talk about it a lot, the spider's web of Dave Filoni.
Yeah, they've got a plan.
You know that they're thinking 1, 2, 3 seasons ahead, and they're 100%. Planting little things now that then they can hark back to. So they know what's coming. Obviously we don't, but they know that what the storyline is going to take us, and so they can just drop things in, can't they? So yeah, this episode, I mean, I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favourite. It wasn't the worst one, but I felt like it really did. They're still that unit. So there's just so much more to come, isn't there? Like, what's going to happen with Crosshair? Obviously, their ship. Who's stolen the ship? Like, is that going to be someone random? Yeah, absolutely. So, and obviously, Gunji has
been left on Kashyyyk.
Yeah, left on Kashyyyk now. And there's that. Are they going to see more Jedi? It would be really interesting if we saw Kanan.
Well, I tell you what,
because obviously he was in episode 1. He was the Jedi that they let go, wasn't he? And I feel like there may be something. I
tell you what kind of crossed my mind a little bit was in Kenobi. There was the what's it called, the Path? Is that what they were called?
Oh yeah.
And they go to the Kenobi gets taken to that room, and in that room,
they've all written stuff.
Quinlan Voss had written something, and
only
they were
when
talking
your
about
eyes are closed, can you see the path.
And I wondered whether maybe when Echo's gone and stuff, maybe this is building up to that. Are they going to be like a fundamental part of that system?
I hadn't thought of that, and this is where I just love it. Everything intertwines, everything's linked together, isn't it? And that's the beauty of having 1 or 2 people oversee everything.
Yeah.
And even though other people direct things, like you think of Mando, Book of Boba Fett, they had other people direct it, but they're still there.
Yeah.
Making sure that nobody does anything that all know, because we need to keep that how it is, because it's going to link in 5 years' time, it's going to link to something else. It's just,
love it.
I love it.
Love it.
Love it!
So, guys, that is what we thought of episode 9. If you have enjoyed hearing us talk about that, why don't you go check out some of our other awesome content
Absolutely.
Here. And other than that, guys, we'll see you all really soon in the next one.
May the Force be with you all.